Hey, Val here. Welcome to the 8th episode of Mindustry Schematics, where we look at Mindustry Schematics to get a more in-depth look at how, well, Mindustry works. It's a rather roundabout system. Here we're going to look at this Plastanium factory schematic by MSS77439. God, that's a lot of numbers. Anyways, this is a 22 factory schematic which outputs, naturally, a whopping 22 plastani per second. Well, not really, because there's occasionally an overflow problem, which happens cyclically a little, and could bring it down to 21, and then suddenly up to 24, but, well, we're not really counting that. One thing to note, 22 plastini per second is actually more than a conveyor, or even a titanium conveyor, can handle, which is why there's only mass drivers in and mass drivers out for items. One more thing to note, this is too fast for even a mass driver. Anyways, there are three main sections to this. The oil and titanium, which are the ingredients for the thing, and then the plastanium, which is the product itself. Let's start with the simplest one here, the oil. The oil is intended to come through these liquid tanks, but you can attach liquid bridges here and only lose 4 of the 22 plastanium factories if you're feeling especially obtuse.
Oh, yes.
In all seriousness, the oil comes into these liquid tanks and go through this vertically symmetrical set of bridges and routers. And that's it with the oil. Very simplistic, simple, basic, and any other synonym one can think of to describe this part of the schematic. Now onto the titanium. The titanium comes in from this mass driver in the center of the whole factory, and it spreads out to these Plastanium compressors, pointedly not going into the bridges on either side because of the connection rule we talked about last video. Bridges can only spill out whichever side doesn't have a connection. Unloaders then siphon out the titanium and the plastanium, but it gets filtered out, into the rest of the other plastanium compressors. And that's it for the titanium. The plastanium compressors send, for most of the unloaders, both the titanium and plastanium out either in this internal unloader network or in this external bridge network. This internal network tries to go out for either this center bridge here or to go to some of the outer bridges, and then, to the end. Doing this requires a combination of inverted and not so inverted sorters in the entirety of the machine, which the animation is kind enough to show what would take a month of Sundays to say in words. Thanks, future me. All of these bridges and overflow gates, yes, overflow gates, that way the creator can say not a single conveyor belt was harmed in the making, into the mass driver on the left, and the journey is done. Yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something new. See you in the next one.